Hello everybody out there in the Frontline universe. I'm Chris and welcome back to another comic book review. DC Rebirth has officially begun, everybody, and in this review I'll be reviewing Superman, the DC Rebirth one-shot, the one-shot that sets up the new status quo for Superman during Rebirth for Action Comics, and Superman, books written by Peter J. Tomasi and art is by Doug Mahnke. Peter J. Tomasi definitely delivers with this book and definitely sets the next chapter in the Superman books in the next chapter of DC Universe. Doug Mahnke's artwork I've always enjoyed. I've enjoyed watching it evolve over the past couple of years since I was first introduced to his artwork way back in the early 2000s in Superman comics, actually. Before we get into this review, though, guys, before we get too deep, I want to give you guys a little bit of a spoiler alert. I will be talking about the contents in this book. If you have not read the DC Rebirth one-shot yet, you might want to consider pausing this video, putting it in your watch later list, and coming back after you check out for yourself the Superman Rebirth one-shot, and then you come back and let's see if we agree or disagree on certain things. Really quickly though, I think this book is really great, and if you're a fan of Superman, old, new, in between, if you're curious about where Superman's going, this is definitely a book you want to check out. Remember guys, all the DC one-shots and issue 1s and 2s, or if you're Action Comics, back to its original numbering, 957, they're $2.99. So you can't go wrong. But anyway, I'll give you guys a quick little briefie on all the art, a couple pages on Doug Mahnke's art in the book. Another one. Yes, Lana does meet Superman, the old DCU Superman here, and yes, they do discuss this, which I really like seeing Superman back in his old costume, even though it's flashback. But anyway, the book opens up with the old DC Universe Superman recapping the end of the last story arc for Superman, which was the final days of Superman, basically the death of the new 52 Superman. Then it opens up with him, like you guys saw on the art preview, over the monument where they buried the remains of Superman, basically waiting for what? He gets interrupted because he finds out somebody's in the catacombs under the monument. And who is it? Lana. Lana made a promise to Clark that she would bury him next to his parents and not keep them apart. But what happens is old DCU Superman, or old DCU Clark, shows up, and she mistakes him for her Clark at first, and then she's like, "You're that guy that was there when Clark died. Who are you?" You know, she has like a million questions. He says, "For protection purposes, for my family, my wife, and my kid, I can't tell you that." But I kind of find that a little redundant because he mentions Lois's name later on. I don't know if that was a slip of the tongue or if that was on purpose, that Peter J. Tomasi has an idea with that. But anyway, he tells Lana that basically he wants Lana to wait on moving the remains to to Clark's parents' grave. And she's like, "Why?" He said, "Just wait and be patient, because at some point he's going to come back." And she's like, "How would you know this? How would you, how are you so sure that Clark's going to come back from the dead?" And he just says straight out, "Because I did." And he gives a recap of his fight with Doomsday. Lana says, yeah, they had their own version of Doomsday show up, and cause some havoc. And, basically he says he believes that Clark's going to come back. And if he had the rejuvenation chamber that he had from his old fortress, he might be able to do it quicker. And that's when Lana says, "You mean the Fortress of Solitude?" And he's like, "Yeah, I had my own Fortress of Solitude." And she's like, "But he never found out where Clark, New 52 DC Superman, had his Fortress of Solitude because he kept out of the way. He didn't want to interfere with any of the events that were going on in the DC Universe, so he never found out where the fortress was." But for some reason, Lana knew where it was and took Superman right to the fortress, where they go inside. He tries to find a rejuvenation center for that Superman. It unfortunately turns out there's no rejuvenation center. He sees the monument that new DC Universe set up for Jor-El, Laura, and then Jonathan and Martha Kent, and he's like, "I never thought to honor both of them." And I like how new DC Universe Superman did certain things that old DC Universe Superman never thought of, like setting up a failsafe with Kara in case he dies and Supergirl has to take over. He never thought of that. He never thought to honor the parents. And I really like that he learned something in that fortress. And unfortunately, he learned that I can't bring Superman back. We can't bring Superman back. So he honors Lana's promise to Clark and takes her to Smallville, where she buries Clark's remains with his family, with his two parents. And I like how it ended with old DC Universe Superman back in the fortress, and he creates a crystal of Superman, new DC Universe Superman, holding the world up with Jonathan and Martha Kent. And he's like, tomorrow looks great. Now it just needs a Superman. Tomorrow needs a Superman, basically. And that's how it ends. And it says to be continued next week in Action Comics, and then in 2 weeks in Superman. And I thought this was a nice book. It recapped the real death, the actual death of Superman. I like that they hinted that there were other people when they showed Superman coming back to life, but they didn't show, like Cyborg Superman, Steel, Superboy. They didn't tease it. They didn't show any of that, but it leaves me wondering. They mentioned the name Cyborg, and we all know that Hank Hanshaw is in the new DC Universe right now because Clark or old DC Universe Superman encountered him during the Lois and Clark series. So I'm actually really excited to see where Superman goes from here, where Clark takes, obviously he's going to take up the mantle of Superman now that he's officially given up on trying to bring back or expecting the new DC Universe Superman to come back. Now I feel like he's ready to take over the role again as Superman because the world needs a Superman, that's for sure. And I'm sure that at some point, I like that they did this because it makes me wonder if at some point before DC fixes itself, if Clark will try to find a way anyway to bring the new DC Universe Superman back. That would be interesting. But again, I don't know. We don't know where Rebirth's going, which I like. We don't have an idea like if things will phase back together or if the old DC Universe will pop out somewhere or, we don't know. And I like the setup for what they've done with Clark and with Superman and that Lana is still, they actually showed that Lana was still around. This book was a great, if you are interested in Superman, I would highly recommend checking out this one shot because it basically sets up, it puts a period or an ending chapter for the new DC Universe Superman, and it reopens the book to the old DC Universe Superman to come in and basically continue where the new 52 Superman left off and basically take up his mantle again as Superman and move forward. One thing I wish we would have gotten more of was them, Lois, him, and Jonathan coming to Metropolis, but I believe that's going to be the first story arc in one of the books, so it makes sense that it's not part of the one-shot. I enjoyed this. I think that a lot of Superman fans, new and old, will appreciate and like this as well. I would definitely say give it a check out. I give this book definitely, as a setup book, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It left me definitely wanting more, but not in a bad way, in a very good way. I wish it was longer. I wish there was more in it, more set up for us so we could see more. So, all good stuff. I would definitely recommend you guys check out the Superman Rebirth one-shot. It was excellent. Doug Mankey's artwork was great, and Peter J. Tomasi definitely has me excited for where he's going in the Superman book. And with that, that's it for this review, guys. As always, don't forget to check out ComicFrontline.com. We are your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. Feel free to comment below your thoughts on Superman's Rebirth list. The Superman Rebirth one-shot. I can talk. And what your thoughts were. Did you like it? Didn't you like it? Did it answer a lot of questions? Was it a good setup point for you? Do you like where it looks like they're going to be going with Superman? What are your predictions for the future with Superman? And also, if you are not subscribed to the Comic Frontline YouTube channel, you might want to subscribe because videos pop up each and every day from Comic Frontline. Rebirth has begun, so we will be covering all of Rebirth, and you are not going to want to miss out on a single video. So till next time, everybody, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and I'll see you guys really soon in the next video.